What's going on, guys? Matt DeBerry, DawgPost.com. Of course, bringing you the latest UGA team and recruiting news. Coming today with you with a giant sunburn on my face because this past weekend I was at the Under Armour Camp in Alpharetta, Denmark High School to see some of the top players in the country. Try to earn an opportunity to play in the next Under Armour game. Tons of talent on hand. A lot of big-time players from Georgia and a lot of big Georgia targets and commitments, and that's what this video is all about. I'm going to be breaking down the defensive line, mainly because that's the group that I saw the most of, and that was the most talented group there. Lots of Georgia targets and commitments, so let's jump right into it. The first guy I want to talk about is Walter Nolan, the number 2 overall player in the entire country for the 2022 class, 6'4", 300 plus pounds. He might have been at 310. I don't know exactly what he weighed in at, but this guy can absolutely move. This is the second time I've seen him. The first time was actually last summer at this same Under Armour camp in Atlanta. He was back, and he is the highest rated kid out there, and he more than impressed. I was very impressed with the way he moved and his agility for a guy that big, over 300 pounds. You can see right here, he was one of the biggest guys there, but he was moving. He was trying to get that 40-yard dash going. I caught the end of it there in one of these videos, but he moves really, really well. I could see why he's a 5-star as it relates to his recruitment. Georgia actually did not make his top 10, but I spoke with him afterwards. He said that he's coming out with a new top group and that Georgia was going to be in there. He said he hears from the staff all the time now, and there's going to be a big story on Dawg Post later this week about where Georgia stands in his recruitment. They have an elite defensive line class already, and if they added Walter Nolan, it could be one of the best in school history. So make sure you head over to Dawg Post for the latest there. I've got quotes and everything from Walter about Kirby Smart, Trey Scott, and what he likes about Georgia. So make sure you check that out. Overall, he's a beast. I tried not to use that word so often because it is an overused word, but a guy moving that fast at his size and moving laterally too. He's a physical kid as well, so definitely a player that Georgia likes, Georgia wants. So we'll see if they can really get into the mix of it and see if they can get him on campus for an official visit possibly in June. Another guy I want to talk about, Mikhail Williams. This is an in-state kid. I thought he would have been committed to Georgia by now. He originally wanted to make his commitment on March 15th, and earlier this month he decided he wanted to take a step back, look over things to make sure he makes the right decision. This is not a guy who wants to commit and then decommit like so many kids do these days. When he commits, that's going to be it. So I do actually appreciate that for sure. But he's got a top 5, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Kentucky, LSU, and Southern Cal. Southern Cal is the school that I think is giving him the most to think about. I do believe he has some type of family ties out there. They're a program on the rise for sure. They've got the history. They've got the sun and the beach, which is something that he's very much attracted to. So I do think it's going to be down to Georgia and Southern Cal. He has an official visit set up to Southern Cal and Georgia Tech, but he said he has not figured out a date yet for his Georgia official visit, but he will be taking one. And I do think that he will have a commitment by the time his senior season starts. But you can see him here. He said he was 6'5", 256 pounds, lean, athletic, was a monster off the edge for Hardaway this past year, was a sack monster, and you can see why. There's a lot of athleticism there. He's got a great frame. There's a reason so many schools are after him, and Georgia's put themselves in a really good spot. But I thought he had a really nice day overall. This is the first time I've seen him play, or not really play, but get out there and move a little bit. And I thought he moved really well. I liked his length and athleticism out there going through drills. So definitely a guy to keep an eye on. He's a borderline 5-star in-state guy that would make Georgia's defensive line haul even that much better. Now, one guy they do have on the commit list is Tyree West. You can see some of his highlights here, about 6'3", 280. He's not as long. He's not as big as the other two guys, but he's pretty quick for 280 pounds. He moved laterally better than I thought he would. But he doesn't look like, Leonard Floyd on the edge coming, from the outside linebacker defensive end spot. And he doesn't look like Jordan Davis either. But I think he's a guy who can line up, between a guard and a tackle. Not a traditional edge, but not a guy who can play above the center either. But I thought he had a nice day. He won most of his reps that I saw. But I thought he was better in drills than he was at this camp last year. I think other analysts in the industry are higher on Tyree West than I am. But I thought he had a pretty good day. He was, he wasn't jaw dropping or anything like that. But and again, we only saw a limited amount of reps. People at Under Armour didn't give us a lot to really see as it relates to one-on-ones. There was a ton of kids there. A lot of guys obviously got reps, so a lot of these kids did not get too many. But from what I saw, I thought he had a good day, and I think Georgia fans are going to like him, and I think he will be a starter eventually in Athens down the road. Now, another guy that I'm really excited about, 2023, Levas Overton. This kid has special written all over him. Legit 6'4". His parents told me he was 265 pounds, and he led the state in sacks last year, 21 and a half. I think at Milton High School, he is an absolute freak. Led the state in sacks as a sophomore. Not easy to do, but he's got the explosiveness, the burst off the edge. He is so fast off the edge. He can win with just his physical traits alone. He can overpower guys due to his strength, but he is really fast and explosive. He can go outside of a tackle. He can go through the hole between a tackle and a guard. He's quick enough to do that. He just gets after the quarterback. A two-way star. He's the power forward from Milton on their state championship team. The guy's just a jumbo athlete, has offers from all the major schools. And I think right now one of the other sites has him as the #1 player in the country for the 2023 class, and I think they're probably right. I saw him play multiple times last year in person on Friday nights. He is absolutely worth the hype. I think Alabama's probably the team in the best position to land him right now. Alabama, Clemson, Oklahoma's in the mix, Texas A&M's in the mix. He grew up in Alabama. That's where he calls home. He didn't grow up in Milton, so he doesn't have a ton of ties to the Peach State. Georgia's definitely offered him. I would not say they lead or anything like that, but this is a guy they would love to have. I think this is a Sunday player. I think he's going to make millions of dollars playing football at the NFL level, and he's a guy who has 2 years left of high school to get better. There's room. He's got the frame to add muscle, add more weight, and keep that explosiveness. Overall, I think he will end up being one of the best high school players I've ever seen, and that's a pretty strong statement. But absolutely a guy to know and a guy who really, really impressed me over the weekend. Guys, thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next video coming up right now, and I will see you over on the website.